front, SDF, made an outing, and this time it was like he had to stink and spit and reject his adopted sons, the Ambazonian. You know, at one time he came out and he said no matter what they are doing, they are all his sons, they are his children. And so they don't need to be rejected. But this time he had to spit them out seriously. I want to begin with you. We followed we don't need so much analysis, otherwise it will take so much time. But you followed his outing. Let me start with Dr. Busi. What do you take about that? Because he made them to even know they are not more Cameroonian than others. They should stop all these things and so on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams. Looking at the outing of John Fru Ndi, I think that he was moderate and he was direct to the point, okay. Telling most of the separatist leaders that they are out for their money, personal gains. That most of the separatist leaders abroad, they are out for their personal gains. They are not out again for the struggle, because he also suffered the effect of the struggle, the Anglophone Crisis, where the separatists caught him and they had to force him.
He said it was even hit on his head.
Yes, and the national anthem was being sung very well, and he was being almost tortured. Yeah. He was almost, but not tortured, and the national anthem was sung very well. What next when this group of people are divided? But I want to say that the Anglophone crisis is real, is correct, because the people have been advocating for self-determination. They have been fighting for justice, and we have seen a lot of injustices since the crisis started seriously in 2017. But I think that John Fru Ndi already made his claim that he's a federalist. Yeah. And he went forth to say that the Anglophone leaders abroad, the separatists are separated. They are not in one mouth. And that is why whatever they say there, Ground Zero here is doing another thing. And he was trying to educate them to come together as brothers and sisters and form a coalition in which they can talk in harmony and look at the way forward, because people are suffering back here home and children not going to school. So he was advising them to come together because they are divided, they are in different camps, and it's not solving the problem, and the pain is too much on the people. So what I feel is that what John Fru Ndi was saying was a positive education for me to an extent. But I still feel that these separatist leaders, they really have to come together. They really have to have one mouth, because this one is saying A, this one is saying B, this one is saying C. Those at Ground Zero, they are doing their own. So they need a common ground. They need a common ground in which they should have a way forward. Because if they continue like this, Mr. Moderator, this crisis can still continue for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, which we don't like. Many people are suffering. They need to come together. John Fru Ndi also talk of issues of people's hands that are being chopped up, and many persons' hands have been chopped up. To an extent, I will still ask John Fru Ndi, why didn't you go in? Why didn't you? He went in for the presidential election. His party went in for the presidential election when the crisis was still hot. Why didn't he just avoid the presidential election too, like Kamto did sometime, to also say that he is feeling the Anglophone crisis deep in him? To also say that looking at issues like this, issues of self-determination is very complex. John Fru Ndi is talking like a politician, not like an activist, because activists have the way they reason. Politicians have their own way they reason, because John Fru Ndi is looking himself as a Cameroonian, but those other people abroad are looking themselves as like Ambazonians. Okay. And John Fru Ndi says he's a Cameroonian, he's not an Ambazonian. But the end of it is that we need peace, we need justice. And my advice is that all those separatist leaders abroad should form a union, should form a coalition, an alliance, and come together for a common ground, because those at Ground Zero are really suffering.
Let me come to Mr. Njomo Siribe. Before I come to you, maybe we should listen to this. He just came in. He said, "Good evening to you guys in the studio. To the best of my knowledge, Boya is not hospitable due to the fact that Boya acts as a host community to the IDPs, and the mayor last Monday came and broke down most of the places where some of these IDPs are doing petty trade, etc. What measures has the mayor put to sustain the IDPs economically? Instead, he came and broke down the little huts they built to crave for economic sustainability. I think we should know the meaning of hospitality here. Okay, I think we know the meaning of hospitality is you are also giving your opinion, but you have not signed your message. Maybe while we are talking, somebody will surely react to it.
And John Fru Ndi also quoted the case of Florence Ayafo, where she was brutally killed, which was not good too, in the eyes of humanity.
Mr. Njomosiri, John Fru Ndi came out powerfully.
Yeah, before permit me comment on that, viewer, just to tell the viewer that please, to be an IDP is not a temporal, it's not a permanent status. Okay? When you come to a city like Boya, it is the role of the government to build makeshift accommodation to harbor you, and it enters in the prorogation or the assignment of the mayor. So you are in your right to ask why he has not made provision for that. But as to say that you are occupying any parcel beside the road, the Article 7 of the municipal law equally gives him the right to crush down any makeshift occupation beside the road up to 5 meters. And so he is doing exactly his job. Secondly, there's an agenda behind not coming out on Monday, which is a resistance agenda to the authority of the municipality. Of course, you don't expect him to cajole you when you are working against his own mandate. Once I've said that, I will jump straight to John Outing, the chairman of the
Social Democratic.
3 things, and I will not be long, is the first thing he talked about was the separatists on the social media. Most are asylum seekers or people with the refugee status, meaning that they can maintain a situation of crisis in their home country to make sure that they are sure they are staying in their host country. So from that perspective, sometimes we should understand why they will always orchestrate violence. That aside. Secondly, he said they are blaming Foncha Muna, blame Munzu, and all the Anglophone that have lived before them, as if they have done nothing right. But he reminded them that he joined politics when he was 42. And he was some of their ages now. He can pride himself, and Cameroonians know what he has contributed as far as democracy is concerned in his country. He is therefore asking them, when shall they give their own accountability? Will it be on social media? And those are questions that it should sink deep in those who are really rational. Money will fake away. There is no amount of money that you can take that will last. But legacy, reputation is what matters. And once I've said that, I want to say that the meeting where he was convened to talk was invited under the banner of an international town hall meeting. But surprisingly, people started seeing Ambazonian flags. And he watered down that ideology rapidly from the introduction and said that if they have invited him for an Ambazonian meeting, he's out of here. And that is the manipulative aspect I want to bring out in this struggle. People have hijacked it because they are looking for money. They are looking for their staying in Europe. They want to force that agenda into people's mentality to believe that they are struggling for the marginalization of the Anglophone, which is not true. So there is a call of consciousness. There's an appeal that they should do good. Almost in every quarter now, especially in the Northwest, you have little group of young men with arms.
Yes.
I mean, every quarter, creating fear, panic to their own neighborhoods. causing retardation in development.
Many have taken advantage of the situation to make
they have chased their own personal border, younger ones, away to far distances, who are now playing IDPs like they without victimization. At a point in time, they were not even look like rebel group. They were not look like terrorists. People already internalized their practice as if it was legitimate. Why? Because they keep singing the music that they want to free and they are going to land to Buea. Just that the road that they are taking is contrary to the road that leads to Buea. When you are seeing they rush and take picture at the UN, Fundi reminded them that he has been to all those places, not once, not twice, and that those people, when they will finally give you the last message, the last letter, you will not believe that these are the people you have been using their reputation to sell to your people as a hope to rely on. Mambo, let me tell you, there is no way to hate your people than to be on social media manipulating them. You waste their time, you keep them lazy, because as we talk, the greater majority of Anglophone that are in Yaoundé, Douala and the other from, what are they feeding off every day is French. The same language that you say you are combating.
Okay, let me come to you, Mr. Solomon Ate. If you look at John Fru Ndi and his political life, you will see that these guys want to use him to be like a figure that people, because he has the population. Now he's trying to shift from it. Do you see the success of the Ambazonia when they have started proving that they are not worthy, they can't fight by themselves, or they can't mobilize people and put some sense into them? They want to set off people. Because what they did with Fru Ndi, but Fru Ndi was strong enough to make them understand that he's intelligent.
Now there's something we have to understand. The Anglophone struggle is a genuine struggle.
Okay.
And Fru Ndi didn't say that he is against the Ambazonia movement, and he has always said it, that he is not against Ambazonians.
Yeah.
But people should respect his own point of view. And the fact that he refused to sing the Ambazonian anthem, it didn't mean that he said that they are doing the wrong thing.
Okay.
I'm not equally saying that they are doing the wrong thing or they are doing the right thing. I'm just trying to say that let us not attribute to the chairman what he didn't mean.
Okay.
The chairman has never meant that I don't buy your ideology. He's simply saying that there is a genuine Anglophone struggle that the Ambazonian leadership has hijacked, and they have brought their own agenda.
He wants unity, and they should do the right thing.
And that he wants that there should be unity, because if there is unity, obviously we are going to advance. We want that situation, each and every Anglophone in this country wants that situation where there is a coordinated leadership based on objective reasoning, that we get to a certain point where we sit down and ask ourselves this question, like, what is the way forward? Yes, we've been fighting, we've been making the noise, we've been on social media, our brothers and sisters have gone to the bushes and they've carried arms and they are fighting, and the people have been suffering, the masses have been paying the price. At a certain moment, we need to sit down and ask ourselves questions like, now, what is the way forward? But if you look at the way the Anglophone leadership is so divided, that is what makes him to say that if we remain divided like that, even if we fight for the next 100 years,
success is not on our way.
Yeah, we're fighting a lost battle. And he is very correct, because he comes from a system where he knows the regime in Yaoundé plays the divide and rule politics. Okay. As long as people are divided, he succeeds in the regime succeeds.
They are celebrating.
Yeah, they are celebrating. And so, he is just cautioning the Ambazonian leadership that even if you want independence, if that is what you truly want, there is nothing that stops you people from uniting and talking in one voice for the sake of your people that are suffering. Because when you stay divided and all the noise you're making, your people on the ground are suffering. Okay. And so they should equally stop committing atrocity. He made mention of the fact that the international community has lost sympathy on the Ambazonian movement. And it's very true, because if you look at the atrocities some of them commit today, you begin to ask yourself if these people are really fighting for the people.
But don't you think that some people have just come in to take advantage of the situation?
We cannot wipe away that.
And they cannot be called part of the separate or Ambazonians.
We cannot. How can you define who is a separatist and who is not separatist?
That's what I'm saying. That some people have come in.
Yeah, we cannot completely wipe. Please, let me land, please. We cannot completely...
No, we have situations where thieves have broken into homes. Wait, excuse me, let me land. We have testimonies where thieves have broken into houses. They say they are Ambazonia. But by the time they are arrested, they discover that they are thieves. They are not even Ambazonian.
What makes it different?
Mayor Cyril, please. This is not the debate. The debate is not whether Ambazonians are bandits or they are Guinean fighters. That's not where the debate is. We're saying we cannot wipe away that. We cannot wipe away that hypothesis that there are people who infiltrate the ranks of the Ambazonian movement to cause atrocity. But the debate here is that Ambazonian fighters equally commit atrocities that have made them to lose sympathy with the international community. And John Fru Ndi, as a father, as an elite in this country who has fought against the marginalization of Anglophones, and he has lived on the ground, feeling the pain of the people, thinks that if there is a genuine movement that works for the interests of Anglophones, then they should be able to come together, unite their differences, and speak on one voice, so that the international community should take them serious, and so that the atrocities their fighters are committing on ground, they should be able to call them together and say, hey, if you want the international community to sympathize with you, then we need to stop all of this. And we need to
3 seconds.
Fix the conversation around Fru Ndi's outing. People are rebranding the conversation as to say Fru Ndi came out and supported the One Cameroon agenda and rejected Ambazonia.
He said that.
Okay.
He said objectively, he
said that.
Yes.
Stop.
Okay. Yeah, we shall be coming back. Yes, I'll come back to you. Yes, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Okay, please.
Let me land.
And that's why it's not here to do the same.
Let me land.
I'll come back to you. Okay, let's take this.
Please, I had the floor. People should allow me out. Let me have the floor. Please, let me have the floor. You have the floor. You have the floor.
Okay. This. Somebody is responding here. Somebody is responding here on the text. Let's listen. After this, I'll come to you, Mr. Item Armstrong. You will respond with no. Now is John Fru Ndi still that euphoria mover? That now the Ambazonian wants to use him as a figure to move. He's still having that force. Let me first of all read this one. I say, Cyril, my good old friend, you are right, but going to the business on Monday is risky for the part of the civilians, while the big guns sleep with the protection of the military. But as a hospitable town as Boya is, one of the most brilliant and popular steps the mayor should take is to provide economic provisions for the IDPs, because Boya is a host town for many of these IDPs from other war areas. Okay, maybe we'll come to that too. Yes, is John Fru Ndi still that politician that Anglophone can rely on now that the Ambazonian are trying to put him in front of?
John Fru Ndi has been very clear on his position as this struggle is concerned. We panelists and politicians are trying to hit our head, but as it stands, there have been no revolution on the planet Earth where people don't disagree or people don't some factions don't agree. What is the stand of John Fru Ndi since the beginning of this crisis is that John Fru Ndi stands for a federal state. And that federal state in the United Republic of Cameroon. So it is not surprising that John Fru Ndi will address the secessionist leader in the diaspora in this manner as an equating them with failure, because he is more or less like one of the believers of the United Republic of Cameroon. But then his statements have some sincerity, because when he talked of the fact that the secessionist leaders are very separated, it's true. It is not a new word. He is not making anything new. It's just that the word is coming from the mouth of a statesman whom we so much believe in.
Who understands this country.
Yeah, we have been seeing videos, helter-skelter, where Mark Barata said this, that one says that, this other one says this other one installed the other, and the other one say he's Gary Boy and whatsoever. We have been hearing that on a daily basis, but we did not see it as a story. Today, that John Fru Ndi say they are not united. It has become a whole story newspapers are carrying. Let me be honest to you. The simple truth is that the struggle for Ambazonia independence is being infiltrated on several fronts by the other camp who believes that the country is better one than being separated. Okay. Now, John Fru Ndi has to defend himself. He has to justify his claims with his arrest, and he's being forced to sing the national anthem and maybe torture that was merited on him. That was uncalled for. They should allow people exercise. If they are the Ambazonia are advocating for a state, they should allow people exercise their free will of ensure their free will to either join or not join. And now he went further. Let me learn. He went further to also talk about Florence Ayafo and the front of So and the bishop of Kumbu, the bishop of Kumbu, who were taken, kidnapped. So now, these are all reasons why he frowned at. He felt that this kind of state where people are advocating for and are instead trying to take other people's life, it was uncalled for. So now, John Fru Ndi, to me, has also blamed his former parliamentarian, who is Honorable Weber. He said Mandela and many other heroes in Africa who went through a lot of criticism while advocating for their independence did not run away from their state. So why has Weber left? And he went further to say that Weber did not even make horrible statements in the National Assembly, that there were many other parliamentarians who made statements that were more horrible than Weber, and they did not run, and they were not arrested. Now, if you look at the stance of John Fru Ndi, John Fru Ndi is just, many people will interpret him on various fronts. Some people will feel that he's an agent of La République, trying to justify the position of La République. But others will interpret his stance to be that he's cautioning, like my co-panelist made here. It seems as if he loved Ambazonia so much.
It's like a mentor because he has played politics. He loves
Ambazonia so much, but he does not want to come to the front. But he's cautioning them that I think unity would do good to the state they are advocating for than being separated. Because if you don't want people to be to achieve a state, there's no reason calling them to be united. I don't see any reason why if John Fru Ndi does not want. He's not an Ambazonia advocate. He's calling the people to be united. He should better tell them to quit than to say that they should be united in their.
Before I come to you, before I come to you, Dr. Busi, we'll have. I think we'll take a round after this. But after that, I'll come to you. Let me read this message. He said, "Mr. Psychologist, what we fail to understand here is that Fru Ndi is a politician." And he has lost the political ground in Cameroon, especially with the emergence of the Camtos party. What Fru Ndi is trying to do now is to gain popularity again, because he has proven himself to be a failure both in southern Cameroon and Cameroon La République. Thanks. Okay, now, while you are responding, I'd like all of us to end up, if this time Fru Ndi is trying to be brought up, and we've been hearing who will speak for the Anglophones, do we see John Fru Ndi like a head?
Mr. Mojeto, I think that
we have a minute each, so that we summarize the program.
The viewer was in line with me. Because I earlier said here that His Excellency John Fru Ndi is a politician.
Why are you calling him Excellency?
He's a stateman, whether we like it or not. You used to call Maurice Kamto His Excellency. You used to call Maurice Kamto his.
Does that give you the?
You used to call Maurice Kamto His Excellency. Okay. He's a
please. Yeah, we are coming to you. Let Doctor. We are coming to you. Please.
Listen, please.
You can
listen, please. When you want to talk, allow me finish.
Yes.
You call at times you call ministers His Excellency. I'm just calling John His Excellency.
Why?
Because of his...
Don't unteach my children back home.
It's not an issue of unteaching. what Ni John has done for this country, he has a legacy.
Does that warrant him an excellency?
He deserves it to
Okay,
an
we shall
extent.
be coming to you, please.
Doctor,
let
me land.
Yes.
Let me land.
To some order.
Let me land. And I want to end by saying that if you look at John Fru Ndi, the SDF, as for now, even still remain the main opposition party in this country, and he deserves some respect to an extent. And Mr. Moderator, I think that the viewer the viewer is in line with me, because I said John Fru Ndi is a politician, and he has a, you know, the way politicians talk is different from the way an activist will talk. Yeah. That is, we're very d'accord with that. I'm very d'accord with that. And looking at the ideologies of John Fru Ndi, he was in the Major National Dialogue, and he was part of one of the participants in the Major National Dialogue. What was the effect? No effect. To tell you that he stopped, even if they called for a genuine national dialogue today, the separatist leaders will not want John Fru Ndi to talk on their behalf, because he has not been advocating for their agenda. Let's be very honest with that. He has not been advocating for the agenda of separation. So he will not be part of, if they are calling for a dialogue table, he will be a moderate. Okay. He will be a moderate. He will not be on the side of the separatists.
Maybe they will use him like an
encyclopedia. They will not use him as an... Those people have their own way to dig their history.
Okay.
They will not use him as that. So, Mr. Politician, you used to call your man, your president of your party, Maurice Kamto, His Excellency. We don't have any bargain with that. It was just a title to respect the statement. Sorry, sir. We don't have any differences with that.
I'll come to you, then you before you come. Yes.
I just
hope I will not be interrupted.
You don't counteract with your excellency.
Yes, please.
I just hope I will not be interrupted.
Yes.
Before I was interrupted the last time, I wanted to end my point by saying that John Fru Ndi condemned the Ambazonian movement, and that's very right for an objective statesman like John Fru Ndi. Yes. He has the right to condemn, but he has always had that position of saying that I'm not against you, I'm not for you. That is from that perspective that I'm coming from, and so people should not misunderstand me like saying I'm trying to quote John Fru Ndi as saying that he's pan-Cameroonian or he's pan-Ambazonian. That's not what I mean. He has always stood on the fact that I'm not against you, I'm not equally for you. And that is from that perspective that
he's just a politician.
Yeah, he's just a politician, and he's playing with his words. And so we equally have to end up by noting that each and every Anglophone in this country, even Anglophones in the system, feel the marginalization of Anglophones in this country, whether we like it or not. Even people like Minister Tanganji, who believe that there is no Anglophone problem, to one extent they feel that Anglophone marginalization. And so whether we are separatists or federalists or unionists, we have an agenda that one day we should see Anglophones live in this country as free men, as true Cameroonians, whether they're living in a separate state or living in one Cameroon. And that is the philosophy John Fru Ndi tried to preach. But that for us to get to that extent, we need to be disciplined. Leadership has to be disciplined. And so that is where he stands.
Okay, but do you see him if maybe tomorrow they say, okay, stand ahead of the Anglophones?
I think that if there is genuine dialogue, negotiation, or whatever you want to call it, over the Anglophone crisis, there are multiple factions and multiple ideologies that are going to sit on that dialogue table. That's the complexity of the dialogue on the...
Because there's that chaos of who will be the leader. So do you see him? No, he's not an Ambazonian. What I'm saying, if the Anglophone come today, they say they need a neutral person. Does he still have that euphoria?
And anyway, the neutral person in conflict resolution always comes as a mediator. There is no neutral.
And he cannot be a mediator.
And he cannot be a mediator because he's an Anglophone and he has that Anglophone sympathy. Yes. So the issue is whether he is going to be able to represent Anglophones. The issue is that he cannot represent Anglophones because his movement is not leading action on the ground. We are looking at people who are leading action on the ground.
Okay.
And in a genuine dialogue or negotiation, you talk to somebody you disagree with, not people you agree with. And so for us to have genuine dialogue in this country, the government needs to talk to those people who want to separate from Cameroon. That is genuine dialogue.
Okay, Mr. Item Armstrong.
I think if you ask me, John Fru Ndi to me is more or less somebody who is not certain about whether Ambazonia will be independent or will not be independent, and he does not want to ruin his own position in either side. That is why he stays neutral. But apart from staying neutral, he has made his point clear, because it's better staying with the devil in you than
the angel you don't know.
The angel you don't know. That is.
So who is the devil now? Who is the angel?
The devil he knows is the state in which he is now,
Okay.
and the angel he doesn't know is the Ambazonia that is coming,
okay.
that is uncertain. So, but he doesn't hate the angel, neither does he hate the devil. But he is aligning himself with the devil because the devil is still in control.
Okay.
Now, if you look at what John Fru Ndi has done, his party has been the party that has spearheaded the presentation of the Anglophone problem in the National Assembly. And his parliamentarians on various fronts spoke, they spoke without mimicking in the parliament on the issue that the issue of Anglophones should be discussed. And even the head of state, His Excellency President Paul Biya, acknowledged that there is an Anglophone problem. So now, what he's so concerned is that they have failed in their strategy. And what he's so concerned is that they should re-strategize if they are still vying for the state, because it appears he has an interest in the state.
And the re-strategy is to be united.
Whether he has an interest in the state, but it appears he has an interest in the state and he's calling on them to re-strategize. And if they don't re-strategize, he's seen the present strategy as a failure. And I hope John Fru Ndi is trying to draw attention, because like most of you people said here, he has been losing sympathy within the state because there have been a stronger political party that has taken over. That is the CROM.
Just as one of the participants texted.
And as it stands, we used to say that, and he said he still has hopes that an Anglophone will become president in this state. So that start drawing your attention to where his focus is. His focus is neither the well-being of an Anglophone man.
Marafa told him face to face that an Anglophone never be.
His focus is neither the welfare of an Anglophone man, but his focus is still on the head of state, that an Anglophone being the president. Okay. So I think he wants to draw the attention of politicians, like drawing attention. He wants to draw the attention of Cameroonians against him once more time. But I'm sure very soon Maurice Kamto will make stories again, and
maybe His Excellency Njomo Siri.
His Excellency Njomo Siri. That's the same thing you said here. How can you be calling it?
Maybe he concludes here.
No. On an interview that Mimi for granted to Penda Ikoka, the president of AGI and the national coordinator of the Survivor Cameroon, he said if Kamto is given 100 days to solve the Anglophone crisis, it's simple.
100 days.
Yes. His first 100 days in the office is simple.
And people expected that he would have gone in for the elections.
Excuse me.
Yes.
He is going to put together Anglophone. They elect their representative.
Yes.
And that discussion will be talked among those that have been elected. Okay? So it's an issue of the people. And that is where Fru Ndi said he has not been elected by any of those people who are asking him any words. And so he cannot speak for the Anglophone. I want to call on televiewers to please go on YouTube and tap Ninjon interview. They are going to see he totally came out clear. He does not have an agenda with the Ambazonia. And he said it again that his politics, if they are for a political struggle, they should go and register as a political party and struggle in the right way. He still believes that an Anglophone can become president in this country by election. And that I myself, I register myself in that school of thought.
And Kamto believes in that.
It is possible. I've always told you on this platform that Kamto's struggle he's opening the way. He might likely never be the president of this country, but he must have opened the way. Okay. I'm into politics. Totally because of people like him. He inspired me to be there, and I'm still there, despite the challenges that I face on a daily basis. So coming back on Ninjon issue, he says there's a lot of blackmailing, and you can feel that on this platform. When people fail to attribute the fact the way they are, they want to give their own antagonistic perspective to it.
He said he stand on.
Are you getting me? So I want to land by saying that we are talking at a moment where the UN African Youth the African Youth Organ is talking about silencing gun. It's a project that started since 2014, and this year, 2020, was supposed to be the landmark year. But as we are moving, it's getting difficult. You are still having ports of crisis in Cameroon, Somalia, South Sudan, and young people, unfortunately, are the ones at the forefront fighting. And at the same time, those who are enjoying the money out of this war are the age. So there is a call for young people, and I'm happy that as we are talking, some are even writing directly to tell them that truly, you stand for what you know that can feed your children tomorrow.
Okay.
You struggle for a good future. Don't struggle for things that you don't see. It's not practical.
Maybe we'll come.
And the new hope is the Cameroon Renaissance movement.
Okay, maybe we'll have a quick response to this one. It says, dear panelists, the truth is the known state actors are doing what SDF has been preaching for long, both in a different way, but unfortunately, they are hoping for Fru Ndi to support them, but instead, Fru Ndi is now blowing the trumpet of the Paul Biya. Fru Ndi is a politician, and these known state actors are not politicians. That's why they have different methods of fighting for the rights of their Anglophones. Okay, let me just take one again. John Fru Ndi love this country. The Amba rethink because their method now is failing. Is Ndang from Tiko. Dear viewers of Cross Views on CMTV, we want to thank you so very much for being part of this program. We want to say that if you want to get on social media, go to YouTube, CMTV Buzz. The Buzz is BUZZ. And we want to thank you so very much for being there. Thank you so very much, Dr. Busi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I'm very pleased with the last person with the last message to say that John is a politician, he's not an activist. But when the crisis started, the activists, they had a way forward. But today, the common people are suffering. And some of these people in Ground Zero, they are suffering, the common persons. And that's not the way forward to solve this problem, because we need justice, we need peace. And we can only have that through a genuine dialogue where there's negotiation and a third party for us to have peace and justice.
Good luck, wishes for the legendary hospitality.
I still stand by saying that the names can only go with legacies. We need proper legacies after the names. They should make sure that living together in Boya is the best, so that we can live in social cohesion without hate speech, without calling people Ngafi, without calling people Sawa, without calling people Babiliki. We are one people in Boya, and they will be Boya.
Dr. Item Armstrong.
I will end by saying that the President of the Republic should take on his constitutional powers to protect the minorities and to prevent marginalization and to ensure equality. So, and to prevent the solving of problems through the use of the military, that is the armed force. I wish that he embarks on more diplomatic approaches so that some people don't exploit it to misbehave and equate it. That is because when the atmosphere becomes so funny, everybody will so...
Your wishes for legendary hospitality?
My wishes for legendary hospitality is that what everybody is thinking of is that they are expecting the output, not the main name. So the name legend, they should really be the legend, and they should really be hospitable.
They should replicate the name.
They should replicate the name.
Okay.
Oh, well, my statement to end is that the African Union has launched the Silencing the Gun campaign. And as a peace student that I am, I've been taught to understand that sustainable peace comes when there is justice in the society and people's basic human rights are respected. When we have all of these elements falling into place, we will not need to go out and preach peace. There will be automatic peace.
Okay.
So we should respect people's fundamental human rights and ensure that there is social justice.
Your wishes for legendary hospitality?
My wishes for legendary hospitality. I don't have a problem with the name. I have a problem with the reason behind the name.
Okay.
If there is a reason that is ungodly behind the name, then I think that name is not welcome.
Okay.
Domestic conflict will always exist. It's unfortunate that we tell viewers today that Paul Biya cannot be the solution to the peace that we are all longing for. It's only another republic that will offer you that peace. And for the legendary hospitality, I want to call, and this with authority, on the Lord Mayor of Boya Municipality to cater for the IDPs in town.
Thank you so very much, gentlemen. Thank you, all the technicians, the cameramen. Thank you for the broadcasters. This is where we come to the end of the program today. I have been moderator Mwambo William. See you on Wednesday, 7 p.m.